Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Cooligans, baby. On tonight's episode, we talked to Felipe Cárdenas. That's right. He's a staff writer over at The Athletic. He's going to tell us where all the bodies are buried in MLS.
Okay, yeah, all right. Hopefully he doesn't incriminate himself. And we're going to be talking about a couple other subjects within MLS, some more drama that we don't want to keep talking about, but we have to. And then some game recaps. So all this and more today on the Cooligans!
Yeah, baby!
Yes. Nailing it. Episode after episode.
Bro, we just keep them coming, okay?
Okay.
2 days ago, you were like, that can't possibly be it. I need more in my life. And now here we are again.
Yeah, so people are just in the fetal position when the episode is over. They're just like, oh my God.
It's the Cooligans detox. It hurts, you get the pangs.
That one day, you know?
Yeah. Rough Wednesday.
So, again, welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, look, we got a little bug in here. Look at that.
Okay. I'm sure everyone's really excited about the bug.
I'm easily distracted. Don't worry about it.
Our guest is like, what they call me?
Bed bug.
Yeah.
You know, journalists nowadays, you can't call them bed bug.
No,
they get very angry.
They get very upset.
Anyway, welcome to the show. Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
All right, we are your favorite stand-up comedians that hosted a nice little fun soccer show. So,
the funniest soccer podcast is the Gulliest Soccer Podcast, and now it's the funniest and gulliest soccer television show.
All right,
shouts to you.
And we have our guest today that we have to introduce.
Where are they? I don't see nobody on no couch.
Okay, no, Alexis, we got the technology nowadays.
Hologram? What are we doing?
Okay, yes, Tupac is on the show today.
Hey, finally. Yo, why'd you kill Biggie, dude?
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, right away. We make it hot.
Anyway, no, we're joined by Felipe Cárdenas of The Athletic. And there he is. Look at this. We can talk to
ladies and gentlemen, we could see. I mean, you could see him too, unless you're trying to put your hands together for the one, the only Felipe Cárdenas. What's up, baby?
What's up, guys? Happy to be here, man. What up?
Dude, thank you for joining us on the show. But when we were in Orlando, we were talking after we had played pickup. I was like, "Yo, we gotta get Felipe on the show because he's a great dude, and he also knows Atlanta probably better as far as covering the team. He's one of the
future Migos Felipe Cárdenas.
Where everybody knows it.
That's how we know. That's who knows Atlanta. Jermaine Dupri comes after him. That's an honor.
So
then Outcast. It's me, then Outcast, right?
Oh, okay, there you go. I forgot about Outcast.
I'm glad we clarified. Felipe, so for the people who do not know you, please tell us a little bit about your journey writing for The Athletic and just covering soccer to begin with.
Yeah, so I've been with The Athletic, started freelancing in May of last year, so I started covering Atlanta United right at around summertime, before the World Cup in Russia, and been full-time with The Athletic since April. And so I think what's great about what the full-time writers are allowed to do is that, we cover the teams. Like, we're beat writers for the MLS teams where we live. So in my case, Atlanta United is my beat. I go to training. I interview the players. I'm at every match here in Atlanta.
You're making mate with them.
I haven't done that yet. But I'm sure it's around the corner. I'm a coffee guy. You know that. I'm Colombian. It's all about café con leche. It's all that.
Almost as good as Cuban coffee. Anyway, you were saying?
Fine. But no, I mean, what's awesome about The Athletic and being part of the team at The Athletic Soccer is that we're not just confined to our cities. We're national writers. We can chase stories around MLS. I had an awesome opportunity to go to St. Louis and cover the U.S. men's national team when they face Uruguay. So that was fun. I think the assignments are we sometimes we don't know what we're gonna cover because it's all about the pitch and what we want to go after. And it's been great so far. It's been awesome to be part of the team.
All right. So, do you have a question? Because I want to get into the Atlanta, the drama. All right?
Let's do that. Let's do that right
because,
up top.
Felipe,
Off the rip.
because the beginning of the season, the rough start to CCL, and then the drama with De Boer. Everybody was like, wanting to get him out. The players almost revolting. How, as a reporter covering the team, how did you sort of navigate through that? Because it did seem like the players themselves were unhappy with their coach.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. There were some players and some really key players. You're talking about Joseph Martinez, the reigning MVP, the MLS goal scoring leader, record holder, who's coming out and saying that he's not happy with the way the team is playing. When I talked to him before it kind of turned into drama, I spoke with him in, I think, February, right after CCL. He was pretty open with me in saying that, like, he was concerned with the team's mentality and the way that they were playing, understanding that they had a new coach and that they were playing within a new system, new ideas. So I think that was the first time where I heard a player really reveal the issues that they were having. Considering when they introduced De Boer, it was like, it's going to be somewhat seamless. He speaks Spanish, so it shouldn't be a problem. There's still going to be an attacking team. And they just really struggled to get to that. And I think the chemistry wasn't there early on. The results weren't there. And I think what's most interesting about the whole thing is that, as a reporter, we were listening to the players. They were talking to us. So it wasn't like we were creating something that wasn't there. It wasn't a narrative. They were answering simple questions with really detailed answers about what they felt should be fixed. And I think recently, when I spoke with Justin Meram, the new Atlanta United midfielder who was joined the team in May, he let me know that it wasn't just everyone was upset. So it wasn't this locker room mutiny that was happening. There was kind of like one half of the team knew that they play a certain way. They wanted to play attacking soccer. They wanted to be in a certain formation that allowed their creative players to be more free. And then the other half of the locker room, if you will, was like, hey, well, the coach wants us to do this. So they all had to come together, including the coaching staff, and compromise and meet in the middle. And they did. And the results have been much better ever since end of July.
How is it now inside the locker room? It seems like I think for me it was the big win. What was the name of the show? The Campeones Cup. That seemed to be like the first time where you could see the team kind of combine and unify a little bit. Why don't you mention now sort of what the attitude is? Is it still two sides of the locker room, or are they more unified?
No, I think it's the team is together. I think they've always. It's a good group. I think they get along well. They just have a lot of, and I don't mean this in like a bad way. There are some big egos in that locker room, some big personalities that are used to playing a certain way, used to winning. And, when they started to taste defeat and poor, consecutive and consistent poor matches, it really didn't settle with the team very well. And so, but they have veteran guys. They have Brad Guzan in there, Jeff Larinowitz, Michael Parkhurst. Even though he hasn't played much, he's been, somewhat more of a, off the field leader, locker room guy. They know they're a good team. Anytime I get a chance to talk to Joseph Martinez and I ask him that, he knows. He's like, they know the quality that they have. So I think that was part of the frustration from them. They're like, we're a good team. We've got P.T. Martinez, Barco, Ezequiel Barco, Joseph Martinez. We got the
just all big names.
Hey, don't leave them out.
Guys got dreadlocks, you know what I mean?
True.
Actually, why don't we do this? We have even more with Felipe Cárdenas when we get back.
All right, and we are back with Felipe Cárdenas. Actually, that is one thing I wanted to clarify with Felipe. He has, whenever I hear his name said, I hear Felipe Cárdenas, but it's not Cárdenas.
There's no accent over there.
No, it's Cárdenas, right? Am I saying it correctly?
There's an accent over the first A, so it's Cárdenas, right? Or
okay. I thought it was Cárdenasti. Oh,
No, that's what
That was his AIM. Kind of nasty 101 or something like that. XX.
No, man, he is pretty nasty. I play soccer with him.
Yeah.
Dude can ball.
Yeah, that sweet exterior goes away when you blow the whistle.
Felipe, I did want to ask about. You did mention Justin Meram for a second.
Yep.
What you wrote an article about him recently on The Athletic, but I wanted your interactions with him. There's a side of Justin Meram that I don't think I've ever seen. I didn't see it in Columbus. I did not see it in Orlando. He is much more.
He's an EDM DJ, right? That's what you guys are talking about?
Of course. He is much more jovial and having more fun with the game.
Lighthearted.
He looks like he's definitely having a good time, and he's been making the thing that's most impressive. He constantly makes jokes and trashes Orlando City. Right? We know he had issues with the team, but what has bringing an Orlando City player and how has he sort of changed the dynamic of the team, and because he's getting minutes, so clearly he's fitting in pretty well.
Yeah, he would tell you that he's a goofball. Like, he's a guy that likes to banter and make jokes in the locker room. And so what he told me when we sat down was that, the guy that, MLS saw at Orlando, kind of like the guy that was down and wasn't playing well and really in a shell, is not him at all. And I think here in Atlanta, he's connected with the locker room really well. And he knew guys before. He knew Darlington Nagbe well. He knew Michael Parkhurst well. He knew Brek Shea as well. And so I think he came in, and that was really important for him. Like, not just getting playing time, but like coming into an environment where it was going to be a good environment, a competitive one, but one where the locker room was unified. Now, ironically, he gets here, and that's what he told me. He's like, I got here, and like he was the one that told me about the divided locker room. So
he was like, oh, again, no, not again.
Probably. He was probably like, oh, man. But the reason why, it's been such night and day for him is because as soon as he started playing, and he wasn't even 100% match fit, he gets a goal, follows it up, I think 3 goals in 3 games. And then, once Brek Shea went down and that left wing back position was wide open, he took it and he owned it. And he isn't a wing back. He's been really open about this, that he's learning to play that position because you do have to kind of be defensive as well. And he's not a defensive guy. He's an attacking winger. So he's done well. He's added like a little bit more creativity on that left wing, which they didn't have early on in the season. Once it got down to the end line, guys were just kind of like rotating the ball back. And he's a guy that wants to take guys on and provide some service. So he's been great. I think he's been great for Atlanta United. I know from what the chats that I've had with him that he's very happy in Atlanta. And so we'll see what the future holds for him if he'll be back with the team in 2020.
Speaking of Atlanta United, 2 straight losses, one of which to Justin Meram's old team, the Columbus Crew, or Columbus Crew SC. Philly as well, who's was at the top of the Eastern Conference for a while. What's happening with the team? Is this, in MLS, you want to get hot going into the playoffs. They're doing the opposite. What's going on?
Yeah, they are, honestly. And then before Columbus, or after the Columbus game, DeBoer said that they didn't have a good week of practice. That he knew the team wasn't in it. They were sluggish in training, and then they were very sluggish against Columbus. And so, kind of going back to what you mentioned about Campeones Cup, I think Atlanta to me is this team, and it's because of the makeup of the players. They've got guys that are used to winning trophies, used to winning championships from previous stops on before they got to Atlanta. So Pity Martinez, I think he's on trophy number 13 that he's won in his career.
Jeez.
But the Campeones Cup, it's like they get up for games. They get up for big games. They are a team that tends to play to the level of their competition and to the moment. So that's why they're good in pressure situations. They tend to be great. So the Philadelphia game was a big game, but I think they were coming off all of those, cup wins, the Open Cup, the Campeones Cup.
You get tired just carrying all those trophies. They're
it's
heavy.
A lot, and they have to make all those IKEA armoires for the trophies. It's a lot.
So you can't blame them. You can't blame
I like
them.
how Felipe waits for us to finish being stupid and then he finishes his answer. That's really nice of you, Felipe.
Thank you.
Isn't that? I'm not going to interrupt two comedians. I'm not the comedian here.
I did want to ask real quick about Pity Martinez. Right? He's been just this weird to me, kind of melodramatic time
been a roller coaster
in
for
MLS.
sure.
I don't understand if he's happy here. I don't know if he regrets coming here. I mean, he has a tough time sometimes, maybe having chemistry. Sometimes he's banging these golazos. All-Star game, he can't even find the net. Well, how is he doing? There's no other better question. Well, how is he doing?
Does he need a hug from us?
We would be happy to hug him.
Maybe. I mean, he could probably use the help from you guys. He struggled. He was open about that too. He was self-critical early on that he wasn't playing well, and he was kind of getting used to everything, that the new environment. Even having reporters in the locker room was a shock to him about MLS. So, a lot of just culture shock for him, and then him putting pressure on himself to perform. But
was it a shock for him that the fans aren't trying to knife the front office? Was it?
I appreciate that at least.
Yeah, he's probably like, where are the ultras? There are no ultras. There are no guys without t-shirts or right. Topless in games or anything like that.
Jail tattoos on their neck.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I think he's getting better, and he has a ton of quality. His teammates say that he displays it in training, but I think he's one of those players that just puts pressure on himself to perform. And he's the kind of guy that you just give him time, give him space, get him a little bit more comfortable with the players around him, and he'll deliver. But whether he's 100% committed to the team, yes. Like, I guarantee, the guy is a competitor. He's committed to Atlanta United and winning something this year. And he was one of the guys that was out there talking trash to, like, he later said it wasn't directly to Club America, but when he was asked if who's going to win that Campeones Cup, he was like, it's going to be us. Like, we're going to beat Club America. So he is that type of athlete that isn't shy about being professionally arrogant and speaking his mind. Is he happy? I don't know. He says he is, and so I'll tend to believe him. But I think he's a player that wants to do more. He wants to accomplish a lot more than what he could possibly accomplish here in MLS. I know it's important to him, but I think he's a guy that would like to be in Europe sooner than later.
Well, that's dope. In fact, we got some questions. I want to talk about the U.S. men's national team. I want to talk about that whole thing, especially the article you did about the game versus Uruguay. But we'll do that as soon as we get back. Yeah, baby, we are back. So, Felipe, you not only follow the Atlanta United and of course MLS, but you also follow the men's national team a little bit. And in fact, you wrote an article that was really great about sort of their lack of identity versus Uruguay. As fans of men's national team, we get a little frustrated. We hear people like, Triple G saying things like, oh, no, we saw progress. And the fans are like, were you watching a different game? Why don't you talk a little bit about someone like yourself who understands the game at a very different level than we do? What are your feelings right now on the men's national team and it's sort of its progression towards the next World Cup?
Yeah, I mean, I understand Greg Berhalter's process and like being there and being close to them and asking questions, of the manager and him responding. Like, I understand what he's doing. It's not a quick fix. It's not something that the team is just going to all of a sudden start playing attractive soccer in their third game. And so, yeah, I think from the fans' perspective, they want to see results. They want the team to win. They want the team to beat Mexico when they play, their biggest rival. And Greg Berhalter just wants to see progress. He wants to see the players understanding the system better. He wants to see certain players in different roles and then make big decisions on who he's going to keep going forward. So that was my takeaway from covering that team, is that he's still trying to understand and evaluate the talent that he has. He's also selling it really hard, that like he believes in it. He believes in the system. He believes in his players. I think a lot of us like that report on the team and even fans are questioning whether this is the right talent pool to institute and incorporate this new sort of like possession-based attractive soccer. So I think the identity piece is a big one, because for years, for decades really, the U.S. has had an identity. They're a team that relies on athleticism, skill, counters, transition, great goalkeeping, and some really like key individual players that can make a difference. Like, teams in South America, teams in Europe, like in the early 2000s and even in the 90s, like they did not want to play the U.S. because they knew they're going to get a team that like never quit, that never stopped running, that was very athletic, that was fit, and that could beat you, you know, in a game that you weren't prepared for. And so now they're shifting to this very, you know, open book type of identity, is that we're going to do this in every match and we're going to adjust accordingly. And it's hard. And you look at Uruguay, you know, to your point to the piece, they're a team that has had the same identity for a very long time, and they're very successful with it. So it's going to take a while. I think the U.S. is in a tough spot right now. You know, I don't think they're that great of a team, and the teams around them in CONCACAF are getting better, and it's going to be a tough go in World Cup qualifying.
But I guess the only thing that's weird to me is Greg Berhalter's sort of response to the criticism, right? After the Mexico game, he sort of he kind of reportedly got a little annoyed with a journalist that was asking questions. Is that like, it's starting to feel towards like the end of the Klinsmann era, where he's just like, you know, you don't understand this sport.
You don't even speak German. You know?
so it's getting it's a little strange to me this is already the response, that there isn't. I think he sort of expects maybe some more patience, but and maybe this is not Berhalter's fault, but it's like that year gap that we had an interim manager. Now all that pressure's on him because we sort of expect to be further along. But do you think Berhalter's sort of handling this correctly with media?
Well, you know, I think he felt the pressure, you know, after a second consecutive loss to Mexico and kind of getting peppered with questions about progress in the system and the players. And so he reacted. You know, you're right. It's not necessarily his fault, the fact that they did not qualify for the last World Cup and that he happens to be the coach that's coming in after a massive disappointment. And so that's part of it. That makes every decision that he makes, and anytime he speaks to the press, it really magnifies his answers, because the U.S. is coming from a place of failure. And so it's a tough position to be in. Like, sometimes I'm like, wow, I would not want to be Greg Berhalter right now. But, you know, he is, you know, in comparison to Klinsmann, and I didn't cover Klinsmann, so I don't know this, you know, personally, but I tend to think that, you know, Greg Berhalter is much more of a tactician than maybe Jurgen Klinsmann was. You know, at the end of the Klinsmann era, that those things started to come out about confusion tactically, and I'm not getting that yet, you know, from players. And I think Greg Berhalter is very sure of what he wants to teach. It's just a matter of execution. And to your point, it's the fact that U.S. fans are just very angry with the process and the way that he was hired.
Yeah, it's tough being Greg Berhalter, but the best job has to be
Jay Berhalter.
Always getting promoted. It would be a great job.
Yeah, he's like, my brother's not doing well. All right, I'll take more money. You know, not bad at all.
But I did also want to ask you, because we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I wanted to make sure, because this has been a subject that's actually we get a lot of questions about on Twitter.
People think we know stuff.
We don't know anything.
We don't know anything. Do not ask us questions.
But Atlanta United fans tend to get very frustrated that the Atlanta United does not have like a Spanish Twitter account or Spanish social media, and
just hire Siempre United. They're already doing it.
That's an option. What is that Latin sort of, because the team is obviously very South American. You know, there's a lot of culture and a lot of Spanish influence. What does that mean sort of to Atlanta, and the connection between Atlanta United and the Latino community?
Yeah, I think it's a very important part of really the DNA of the team. You know, it started with the players. It started with Tata Martino, the fact that you had a predominantly Spanish-speaking locker room, and then they were very successful, and, you know, they were big personalities. You know, everyone loved Tata. Everyone loved Miguel Almirón. Right away, Tito Villalba became a fan favorite. And so these players came in, and the fans, every fan, whether they're white, black, gay, straight, you know, here in Atlanta, everyone just really loves this team. But to your point about like the Latino community, there is a budding Latino community that's starting to kind of come out, you know, and talk about that they support Atlanta United too. Remember, Latinos usually have a team already. You know, they're coming from, you know, if they're Mexican, you know, they'll cover, you know, they're a big fan of someone in Liga MX. If you're like me in Colombia, like you have your squad. And so I think Atlanta had to, you know, they had to win them over. You know, Atlanta had to prove to the Latino community, like, hey, we we're worth your follow. We're going to be good. We're playing well. And look, we have these players. And so I think it's worked out, pretty magnificently as a brand. They're attracting a lot of different, Latino families, young, old, everyone is here to watch these teams. But to your point about digital, yeah, like I think that's something that's missing. I think they could connect in that way as well. It's not like Latino fans aren't on social media, and especially bilingual, bicultural Latinos, that consume media in English and Spanish, that watch soccer all the time from all over the world. And MLS is still kind of this league that I'm not saying they're not sure about, but they're intrigued with. They're really intrigued about MLS and the future of it. So, I think it would be smart for a club and a brand like Atlanta United to think about that and do what other clubs do in MLS, have a Spanish language, Twitter account at the very least, and continue to push out content that speaks to that audience.
Or they could be the first one to have a Spanglish account.
Ooh. All right.
You already saw it. Well, listen, Felipe, it's been an absolute honor having you on our show. Where can the fans find you?
Well, follow me on Twitter at Felipe Carr, and then, of course, follow The Athletic Soccer at The Athletic SCCR on Twitter. Check out all our news from all our writers. And, we're always there. We're always willing to comment, jump in the comment section, talk to the fans. And obviously on Twitter, we're always there. So check us out.
That's right. So they're reading the comments. And we got more with Cooligans when we get back.
All right. Well, welcome back. Thank you again, Felipe, for doing the show.
What a wonderful guest Felipe is, huh?
He's like, what a great human. He's just a great human being.
I mean, that's the only people we have on this show is good people to balance out how terrible we both are.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
We say, hey, let me look at your criminal record before you come on the show. No, it looks too similar to ours.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Can I help you? I'm sorry.
There's only so much of that on Fubo we're allowed to have.
So, but again, thank you, Felipe. I hope Atlanta United fans enjoyed that. So let's talk about a couple other things. There were a couple matches in MLS over the weekend that I wanted to get to because a couple notable things happened. But we should talk about the match between the Seattle Sounders and the New York Red Bulls.
That's right.
This over at CenturyLink Field.
Who can hold on to a 2-goal lead? Can anybody?
Nobody's interested, right? But incredibly entertaining game. Initially, both of these teams need points, right? Especially like in the Western Conference for Seattle and in the Eastern Conference for the Red Bulls. Every point is absolutely crucial, and I would say the Red Bulls have a little bit more leeway than the Sounders did.
I mean, they're 4 points away right now because of that loss. They're 4 points out of the play. I mean, 4 points
above the line.
Above the line. Yeah. No, 1 point above the line. No, yeah, you're right. 4 points above the line.
Okay.
Math isn't my strong point. We've covered that. Neither are words. Really, just let me play video games.
I don't know. It's an interesting thing to see, especially since we've been following the Red Bulls as closely as we have the last, like 4 or 5 years.
Right.
They've never really been a team that's been in much disarray. Obviously, always like sort of like underachieving because the fan base wants an MLS Cup and they want some.
They've gotten supporter shield.
But they're a consistent team.
They've also never felt like they were floundering at any point. Like I always remember when the Red Bulls would get bumped out of the playoffs, it seemed like a big loss for them. It didn't seem like they didn't rise to the occasion.
Yeah, and we're sort of used to like Metro Twitter is always is like we're sort of we accept that like there's nothing's ever good enough, right?
Yeah,
it's just like we just be mad even if with support you'll be holding the supporter shield and be like I hate this team. I'm not happy with this team.
If the Red Bulls win MLS Cup, they'll be upset about where the parade is. You know what I mean? That's just that fan base.
It's just how it is, which is fine.
They've waited a long time. It makes sense.
But the fact that these last couple games, I would say even probably starting with the Hudson River Derby, there's this like there's more of this Armis out blow it all up, start over. What is it? Hamlet.
Yeah.
The president of the team. Like everybody's just like
Everybody gone.
which seems a bit aggressive.
They just seem somewhat ill-prepared these last few matches, especially against Seattle, which Seattle absolutely needed it. But to go down 4-2, I mean, that's a big...
You know what? This is why I think the Rebels are having the issues that they're having. I think not selling Aaron Long, I think he's like not happy. I think, for that move to Europe, well, how old is he? Like 20?
He scored a header.
27. Yeah.
So you think that mullet is a protest mullet?
I think it might be. I think there's issues with the team, with Kaku and the issues that he was having, like not really playing well, maybe making the comments about going to play in Mexico.
Bradley Wright Phillip looked unhappy that he wasn't starting.
Exactly. So I think there's a little bit of turmoil that we're not used to. We haven't been sort of accustomed to in the last couple years. But one thing I did want to mention about this particular game was the Emerald City supporters, the supporters club for Seattle Sounders. They protested and
they did a walkout.
They did a walkout because one of the president of the supporters group was kicked out for flying the Iron Front flag. And
once again, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
We don't want to have to talk about it. Okay, we don't want fans to get kicked out for being against bad people, okay?
Yeah.
We understand that the league has said they want to be apolitical. There did seem a moment where, like, oh, okay, maybe some pressure, and they'll realize the error in their ways. Like, nah. Everybody getting kicked out. They're calling a bluff, guys. Everybody's getting kicked out.
It's frustrating. Look, but this is a good move, I think, from the MLS supporter kind of perspective, and then to
this is a character building for American soccer
we see
supporters.
This in Europe all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, this happened.
Everybody was cool with it when Liverpool fans walked out because they were going to raise the ticket price, and people are giving Seattle supporters problems because they walked out. Because they can't fly a flag that they want, which isn't negative in any way, shape, or form. Like, I don't understand what the issues are.
Yeah. I mean, look, and we can't keep talking about the same exact subject.
Right,
but
we showed a little support by putting the pizza one up.
Exactly.
I mean? That's our thing.
Hopefully that was cool.
You guys are watching it. You guys are looking at it.
So, look.
And there's no pineapple on that pizza. Shouts to us.
That is crucial. Yeah. Yes. If there was pineapple on it, then that's an offensive symbol that shouldn't be flown anywhere.
That's just a pineapple on a pizza alone. That alone right there. Illegal.
Look, this stuff is it's frustrating. I've been hearing from my sources. Yeah, I got sources.
Yeah. Actually, he just reads the Source magazine. It's old ones.
Okay.
But what they tell you?
I just got a stack.
Biggie's new album.
It got 4 mics.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad. I just got a stack of Source and double XLs, and that's where I get my soccer news.
I got a couple vibes.
All right, I'm still on Jet. No.
Yeah, okay. Doing the crossword puzzle.
No, just this stuff is again frustrating. But I have been hearing that there are talks with MLS. Like everybody's in this weird position where it's like the teams themselves,
they're playing chicken.
The supporters, the front of the league, and nobody agree. There's not anyone to outvote anybody.
No.
Like everybody has their own.
It's those scenes where 3 people have guns pointed at each other. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know, you shoot.
It's like from
you
the
shoot,
office.
You shoot, I shoot. Yeah.
We don't know who's gonna
we'll have more when we get back after this. Yeah, we are back. Oh man, the playoffs are starting to sort of set a little bit. We've talked about a bunch of the teams that have started making a little bit of a move. Orlando versus New England. One team I'm surprised is still in the playoff picture, but that's that Bruce Arena bump, yo. That's that Brooklyn Bruce bump.
That's right. That you can't. That's not like a statistic that people can really.
You can't find that. You can't put it on a chart.
You can't. So it's difficult to sort of have any.
How do you quantify it?
Exactly. But Orlando and New England, and I love these games, especially when two teams. The announcer, they were calling it a 6-point game. How do you feel about those 6-point matches? Some people are annoyed by that term.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay.
Can we just make it a soccer game? Why do we have to make everything into like an American football game, even though they play in Gillette? You know what I mean?
Okay. But this game,
This was in Orlando.
this was in Orlando, but they need both teams just desperately needing 3 points, and you feel it. You feel it as you're watching the game. It's like, again, any of these complaints of like games that don't matter, and that the only thing that a team could ever show any fight is for to not get relegated, which is like it's clearly not the exclusively the case, right?
It's also so frustrating to watch Orlando because, like, if you were to write the names down, you'd be like, all right, there's a lot of talent there.
Yeah.
And Matt Doyle had the hilarious tweet where someone was like, oh, one player leaves and it looks good, but you can't name any more. Weak.
Yeah.
And then he just has like 2 tweets full of players like who are just playing extremely well outside of Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando's so frustrating. I mean, the fans probably more frustrated than we are, but watching them play, you're just like, why can't you put this together?
But watching, honestly, both teams, right? We definitely did not expect this kind of improvement or this much of a turnaround for New England Revolution, right?
Of course not.
We just saw like them struggling, and it was like,
Is Bruce Arena this good, or was Brad Friedel that bad?
it's a good question.
It might be both.
So
wait, didn't he tell me I have to jog? I should exercise more?
did he fat shame you?
Yeah,
Did
Brad Friedel. Remember when we interviewed him at the Hall of Fame?
All right, I don't want to speculate. I just want to make sure that
No, he did. So that's what you get, bro. Bruce was like, "You look great, my guy.
You're looking real cute. I like what I see."
THICC.
Very impressed with Alexis's goodies.
It brings all the coaches to the yard.
So that is kind of a fair question, right? It was sort of a concern when we saw New England play against Minnesota. They ended up they won that game. That was one of Friedel's final games, but. This match, like the skill is, and that was kind of the big surprise. I did not expect this much sort of sauce from New England, right?
What's that? Carlos Heel? How do you pronounce his last name?
Carlos Heel and Gustavo Bo. Both
Gustavo. Whoa.
That's a fair because who did he nutmeg? He nutmegged the dude before they got the goal. I forgot who it was.
Wild disrespectful.
But that is you just like, all right, New England, okay,
flex a little on him.
Boston clam chowder. I didn't expect all this.
Damn, how you like them apples?
But incredibly entertaining game. And then whenever I saw Orlando come back, right, when they equalized again. With the goal from Nani, right? Yeah. And then he got 2 goals, right? The goal from Dom Dwyer, which is good to see him score, right?
I forgot he existed.
Okay. I thought he was a full-time dad at this point. He's just a nanny.
He's an influencer. I didn't know he was.
I'm glad he's scoring because he's a good player. But every time you saw these spectacular goals from Orlando, I just felt like it's just like they don't. Oh, it's almost like the offense doesn't deserve the defense that they have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The mistakes that they make, it's just like, yo, it's so frustrating.
So you see how hard they're working up there?
All right, you see Nani doing like Croy-turn. I'm like, yo, is this a game of FIFA? Dude is going wild.
Is Nani dizzy?
Because I'm dizzy just watching
I know the
him.
defender is.
But I mean, and Nani had a game, one of the better games he's had this year, but he's really carrying this team. And again, we have every time there's a big signing, retirement league this, retirement league that. But Nani, and to his credit, I did not expect him to own and captain this team as much as he really has. And you saw it, I think, in during All-Star Week, where he was like, "Yo, I'm about this city, and I'm gonna do my best to help this team be successful."
Yeah, it seems like he's sort of taking it on, but there's only so much he can do. He can't will the team to win every week on his own.
Yeah,
especially when you have a coach that doesn't. Seem to have the same effort being put in. I don't want to completely blame James O'Connor, but it seems like this is going to fall on his lap, no?
Yeah, I mean, what is if Orlando City do not make the playoffs? What do you think it looks like in 2020? Do they keep the coach?
No.
You don't think so?
No, you can't. What's the excuse you have to keep him?
That's true. I mean, but he hasn't been. It's not a Heath. He wasn't Adrian Heath. Like his tenure, it seems like the locker room.
Minnesota's doing pretty good too. So he was like, "I wasn't me."
Yeah. Oh,
it's
sure.
in the water.
Sure, in the swamp water. I don't know. I feel like they give him another shot. It hasn't been terrible. You know what I mean? It's just been not reaching, just underachieving.
They're 36 points. They're in 10th place.
They can.
That hasn't been terrible with Nani.
I mean, they don't get too terrible. They've been terrible. They haven't been terrible. All
right, you don't get two of them. You get one terrible. Four mics and one terrible.
FC Cincinnati. That's terrible.
They're not even in MLS still. They're like, nah, you guys go ahead. We'll figure this out next year.
No, but they, I think they give them another shot. Orlando, they're not a terrible team, and I think the energy looks a little bit different with the players that they. Tesho, it's a little bit more.
They have
optimistic.
too much skill for the results they're getting. We'll talk more about it when we get back.
All right, let's go and talk a little bit about the Philadelphia Union.
Ooh.
Because honestly, I think
for the second time, right?
I think the Philadelphia Union. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I've never had a hot take in my life. So,
no.
Okay. All right. I won't even eat a hot take.
You won't eat a hot cake. Never mind a hot take.
So, I think, especially this second half, I would say after the All-Star break, Philadelphia Union are I would say arguably the most exciting team to watch or support in American soccer. I feel like
I was going to say it's the most exciting team to watch their support because the fan base is amazing. Remember, we were people were worried that fans weren't going to come out.
Yeah,
dude, every game is lit.
Well, the last couple of weeks, Thailand Energy Stadium has been unbelievably rocking.
Yeah.
We're almost to the point where it's so full that I'm like, I think they didn't expect that many people to be there. Now there's like safety concerns. You know what I mean? Like it seems everybody.
They're like, so all the seats? We're just gonna have someone in every one of these seats?
Because all you hear now from the local broadcast, JP Della Camera and Tommy Smith are always like, it is so loud, it is rocking in here. Like it's just like they were like worried that something's gonna happen.
They're like, can we get like an EMT nearby? Is that possible?
They're just clearly concerned.
Dude, the place erupted on Casper's header that looked like it was going to get stopped.
Yeah.
The place went ballistic. I'm like, I kind of wish I was there to see that.
Yeah. And we have to go to a game soon. A lot of people have.
When's the game against NYCFC?
October 6th. Right? No, we'll be here. We'll see. Maybe we're going to try to go. We've been getting some tweets. Some Philly fans, some of them.
The goons.
The Wooters. You know?
The Finns.
They've been hitting us up, but we have to talk about their match against LAFC, which is a huge game,
massive game
that both teams really I wouldn't say really wanted to win. I mean, Philadelphia Union,
it's the top of each division, right?
Top of each,
or each conference, I should say.
At the time, right?
Yeah.
Or no, Philadelphia was, I believe, in second during by the time this game happened. But both teams, LAFC is almost like this. They're kind of finding themselves again after Carlos Vela recovering from the hamstring injury or quad injury, I don't remember. But the Philadelphia Union, and I loved again, we always shout out Philadelphia Union, the social media, because they're always like, they were posting a lot of stuff about
beefs and butthead stuff, all this stuff.
But they were posting about how, like, we're waiting for you, LAFC. You know, like, not for just a little
not
friendly.
Talking trash, but like, go ahead. Hey, we made a space for you.
We get it. You're 86 points ahead of the second place team, but
you probably mad relaxed out there. But welcome to the East, where it gets a little grimy.
Exactly, and even speaking to that, LAFC they don't have a lock on the Supporter Shield. NYCFC, I believe, is 7 points back.
Yeah.
From a Supporter Shield,
which is probably not going to happen, but there's mathematically it's still possible.
Yeah, and LAFC, if they keep dropping points, anything could happen. NYCFC has a couple tough games on the road, but it's just
LAFC's at 64 points, NYCFC's at 57.
LAFC is not sort of as they haven't dominated, or it's not as dominant as it sort of has been feeling throughout the year.
No, they've had some slip ups, and they lost at Philadelphia, which is huge.
No, they drew.
I'm sorry, they drew.
They dropped points. They dropped those 2 points,
which is still huge. I mean, especially if Philadelphia has one of those. It feels like the Union are a fun team to watch, and they find ways to win the games. But I'm not the type of person that goes in with confidence to say, yeah, Philly's going to win this game. But they always seem to pull it out.
Yeah.
And they're getting amazing play from like Fafa Picot. They're getting incredible play from Casper. They're getting incredible play from their midfield. It's just, and then you've got Marco Fabian who just comes in. I'm not in the Marco Fabian. What's his name? Elsinho comes in.
Yeah, we actually should talk about Marco Fabian, who did not dress for this game because he was apparently late for a team meeting, and Jim Curtin cut him. He didn't put him in the lineup.
Curtin don't play, dude.
Curtin don't get putting curtains on you, dog.
He go. I was gonna say blind you, but he's not gonna do that. He's not.
Okay, we gotta go to Blinds to go and find other puns and different types.
He's gonna vertical blind you.
No, I mean, but again, we do have to go out to Philly to catch just to experience that, because it's these last couple of weeks have been just incredible. The turnaround from the team itself, but and this is where it's clear that when the teams, the fan base supports the team,
they play better. Or when the team starts to interact or engage with the Cooligans on social media.
Okay, so if you guys, this is the winning ticket,
right? We're the opposite of a poison pill. I don't know what that's called. Blinds to go. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think the opposite of a poison pill is just healthy food. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Ew, I wasn't gonna say that.
Nutrients?
Yeah. Was it a smoothie? I don't know.
Are we the smoothie of soccer?
Right. We're like the cocaine. Right? We get you all excited. Maybe you take a poop. Who knows?
I don't know. But then you get a documentary made after you, and Maradona's getting it.
Yeah.
So it's all working
Which
out.
we're invited to, and we can't go.
We can't go to the premiere. What are you gonna do? It happens. All right.
Special screening.
We have lives. I'm going away. I'm going to Japan.
That's right. And I'm going to Montreal.
Okay.
Equal. Pretty even.
Same exact place.
Yeah.
But the shows are still happening, so you'll see us.
Yeah, no, don't worry about it. We'll still be here.
We're not going anywhere. So yeah, look, again, Philly and LA, two places that we have to make sure to visit. We've had a crazy year.
I've said it. If the two LA teams play in the playoffs, we're going. We have to go.
Okay. Are we even going to be able to get a ticket?
We'll sneak in. We'll be all right.
Well, thank you again to everybody for tuning in and watching and listening. We appreciate you very
You're using
much.
all your senses. We're gonna get smell-o-vision. We're gonna get touch-o-vision. We want me poking you in the side.
Let's get consent-o-vision first.
That's important. Look, I didn't even ask, bro. Mad disrespectful.
Let's make sure we do that. Thank you again, Felipe Cárdenas, for joining us on the show. We appreciate it. Make sure
Cárdenas. Say his name
Cárdenas.
right.
Cárdenas?
No,
Cárdenas.
Cárdenasty. Let's get it.
So thank you, man. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow him and read The Athletic. We have a subscription to it. It's awesome. The articles there.
That's right. We share one, though, because we're not trying to give you all that money. You know what I mean? Trying to be a little cheapy. We're going to give you best friend our password. But yeah, absolutely. And also, if you want other guests, let us know who. Tweet at us. Let us know at Soccer Cooligans who you want us to have on the show.
Yes. And make sure you follow us at Soccer Cooligans. You see our little thing in
it's
on the show somewhere. Who knows? At Chris Polanco, at Not Alexis. We appreciate you experiencing this whole Fubo experience
2
with
weeks,
us.
baby.
2
4
weeks.
episodes.
Wild. That's it.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, join Gully Squad if you got a time. Go to soccercooligans.com/Gully Squad. All right.
That's right. Show the support. And make sure to follow Fubo TV. All right.
Yeah, please follow Fubo.
They love that. So with that said, my name is Christian Polanco.
I'm Alexis Guerreros.
And together, what are we?
The Cooligans!